Hi, this is Brian Katzung with KCSG Power Tools for Kartra at kpowertools.com. And in this video, I'm demonstrating a new Pro and Agency feature in Tools for Kartra. It is a global membership-wide custom HTML block installer and remover. So if you're used to the normal page builder, you may be aware of the Kartra Sites feature, which lets you install, for example, custom page styles or JavaScript in one page of the site, and then you can export those blocks to all the other pages in your site. So this adds a similar feature to all of the posts within the membership builder area. And as an example, I'm going to change the font of the home posts. I'm going to use the default fonts feature to change the font for the post label to Limelight in red. So first, a quick tour of the tool. The tool has two tabs. There's a settings tab and a status tab. In the settings tab, you can enter one or more filters, 0 or more filters. If you put any lines of text in here, each line is treated as a separate filter. Every filter must appear in an existing code block for the filter to match. So if you want the changes that you put in to only apply to specific custom code blocks that are already in place, then you would put your filter lines in here. Once again, each filter, they're one per line, and every filter must match in order for the tool to consider it a match. So if you have text from a previous code block that you want to match for removal or for replacement, put just the literal text in the filter block. The custom HTML code, of course, is the code to be inserted or to replace the existing code depending on the mode. The mode, there are 5 different modes. In scan only, it will simply just go through the membership, and it will visit every post in your membership, and it will run the matching test on any code blocks it finds in the page and report what number of matches it finds, which code blocks and matches it finds. So that can be thought of as kind of a dry run mode. No changes are made if you run it in the scan only mode, which is the initial setting. So if you want to make any actual changes, you will have to pick one of these other modes. Replace only will look for existing code blocks, comparing the filter matches, if any, and if it passes the filter match test. And by the way, if you don't put anything in the filter area, it will match all custom code blocks. And by the custom code blocks, I just mean this element down here, custom code that lets you put in your own custom CSS, HTML, JavaScript, and so forth. So in replace only mode, it will not add any code blocks. It will only look for existing code blocks. And if it passes the filter match, then it will replace the current custom code block value with what you put into this section here. Replace/insert is like replace, but if there are either no custom code blocks on the page already, or if there are code blocks on the page but you have filters and they don't match, then it will add a new custom code block. If you say replace insert, then it will insert the custom code block as the first element of each post. Replace append works the same way, except that it will add the custom code block at the bottom of the post. And then with delete, that will go through, it will search for any code blocks applying the same filter matching algorithm as before, and if there are any matching blocks, it will delete them. So you obviously want to use this tool with extreme caution, because you can very quickly make a mess of your pages if you have an error in your custom HTML or you're not checking your settings. So double or triple check your settings before you apply things. So now let's do a little walkthrough. So as I said, I'm going to change the formatting of the post labels, this section here, so that they are red and using the Limelight font. So I'm going to come over to the fonts reviewer. I've picked Limelight as one of my favorites in the Your Pick section. So I'm going to go to the default font section, scroll down to the settings for customizing memberships. For the post name, I'm going to choose Limelight as the font. Let the backup font be a normal sans serif. And then I'm going to set the color to red. Choose that. Copy my HTML to the clipboard. Now when I come over here, I'm not going to match any existing blocks. I'm just going to paste my new code into here. So this is the combination of custom CSS and JavaScript to make the changes. I'm going to tell it that I want to do a replace or insert. This copy of the membership is clean and has no custom code blocks in it. So actually, why don't I go through and I do a scan version first. So I'll do a scan, and when I run this, it'll basically just come up with a bunch of zeros because there are no code blocks. But when I run it, it's going to walk through, it's going to start at the home post and walk through each post. And as you can see, there are no code blocks. And of course, there are no code blocks, so there's nothing to match. So everything is coming up zeros. So let's go back, and we'll go back to the replace insert mode, and I'll start it up again. And as I do that, I'm going to restart from the beginning, and as I do that, you'll see it will put in the code block, and you'll see that reflected in the post titles. It'll change to red and Limelight. So let's start it up again. So now I'm making an actual change. It's warning me to check all my settings, which I've done, and I've tested this code before within a single page. It's always a good idea to try any new code in one of the non-home posts that you can delete if it messes up the page. Test it out in one page before you apply it to your whole membership area. So now we're going back to the first post, and you'll see it's inserting the default fonts custom coding, and here we have our red post titles in the Limelight font. And as we're doing this, there's a little progress indicator that's showing the items. The items are basically these top level items, so home posts, posts that are directly in categories, or the subcategories if you have subcategories. So in this case, there are 5 top level items. There's the home post, 2 top level posts, and 2 categories. So those are the 5 items here. When you go into a subcategory like this, where you have posts on the left side navigation, this sub-item's progress bar is showing you the progress through the left side navigation. So it's just telling you the post number. Next to that is the label. So the last one done is post ID 137, which is called subcategory 2 post, and there were no code blocks. 1 code block was inserted. If you use the append mode instead of the insert mode, then a page that doesn't have any matching blocks and needs a new one will say one appended instead. And so that's what that looks like. If I refresh this, There are the custom fonts in red. And just to show how the delete works, it works pretty much the same way. If you have multiple different types of blocks and you only want to delete one of them, that's where this can come in handy. So for example, if I wanted to say I only want blocks that say contain tfk-mdf, to delete, you need to have this empty. It's just a safeguard to make sure you're not mixing modes, that you don't actually hit delete when you're trying to insert something. So now if I go and apply this, it will delete the blocks that contain tfk-mdf somewhere in them. And as you can see, these titles are going back to normal. So once again, this is the membership-wide custom HTML code feature, which is a pro and agency feature in KCSG tools for Kartra. Thanks for watching.